Hey, what's going on? To the side of me, that's Sunshine.
And E.
Hey, what's going on? What we're doing now is we're gonna cap out or finish out our trip to St. Maarten. Okay, we're back in the studio. You can see Sunshine. She's got all her things going on behind her, and that's the part of it. That's not all of it, but we're gonna cap off this trip. It's been probably about a week and a half now, so we've been back for a week and a half. So kind of gotta use that memory to go back to break it down. So I don't know how do you want to break it down? Any particular way you want to break this stuff?
I don't have any particular.
Okay, let's just we just start with. Listen, as you see behind me, you can see like the black curtain and you see a little green back there. That's my channel, 222 Mega Gym, and behind her you see she does a lot of stuff with fragrance. You can check her out on Sunshine, and on TikTok and other platforms too. Again, Clapper. Yeah. So you check some of her stuff out. So on my channel, I'm gonna do a lot of stuff about travel and stuff. So a lot of the stuff you hear on this, it'll be on my channel too. But right now we're doing the one for our channel, and we just start off with the travel. I love to give tips along the way. If I do, the video will be real long. But I'm just gonna say, when travel, really be prepared, because I was gonna kind of write down and figure out exactly how many forms of transportation we used, and I know there was 2 cars, there was one train, or was it 2 trains? One train. We had like the shuttles. We had probably 4 shuttles maybe, and went on a bus, the taxi, the plane, and we've been on like
Vans, 4 cars.
I mean, it was just different forms. And as you check our channel out and see some of our shorts, you'll see some of the ones we were riding in. But overall, so I guess we could say once we got there, I liked the airport. It was real close to the resort, so it wasn't like we had to because we was in Mexico, and from the airport to the resort was like 45 minutes to an hour, if not more. And so that was tough. So I like the fact that you actually, when you look out our room, and if you check out some of our shorts, you'll see from our room, we can see the airport and see all the planes coming in and going out.
And the runway. You was able to see part of the runway anyway.
Well, it's not a big airport, and that's probably why a lot of the major cities, they only have 1 flight going out of that city. So it's not that big of an airport. Because when the gate that we were at, I think gate 1 was the one we were leaving out of, and there was 5 gates in that one little area. So it stayed packed. A lot of times you get to your gate, and it's an hour before your flight. There's not that many people to get time to get on. This one, it stayed packed the whole time because they have 5 different gates going at one section. What would be maybe
you didn't
one
even know what
section.
door you were going. I guess everyone was going almost out the same door too. It was like you had a gate here. Yeah. You had gate 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And they were all like along the same wall, and not even the entire building.
Right.
It was different.
And that's weird because it was 5 gates out there, but the airport was a little ways. It has decent size as you maneuvering through it.
It had different areas, and I guess I had with the customs, and they had the but there was some that were upstairs too. Yeah, because ours we actually went out on the ground level.
Because we was on the ground level, we had to go and do like the president, put the stairs and go up the stairs. But the people were up top, they kind of went through the little hallway or whatever they call it, and so that was different. So getting there, we had it all set up, and actually, to be honest with you, transportation is very important, especially to have that all set up before you leave. But it really wasn't that important there because the airport was so close that even if we didn't have transportation set, we could have probably got a ride to the resort for like $3 to $5. Because we went further than that and we paid $3 to go somewhere. So, I mean, it's so that's not, so if I ever go back, I guess if it's included, you go ahead and take care of it. But I'm not really worried about it. It's just sometimes you got to be careful what car you get into.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you do.
So let's go. Let's just take a category by category. Let's just start off with the room. What's your thoughts on the views?
I mean, the room was a decent room. I think a lot of places like that, especially near the beaches and stuff, they're getting away from carpet, which is good.
Okay, yeah.
You still like carpet though. A lot of people like carpet. But getting away from the carpet, because if you go out on the beach, you bring the sand in, and you know, and so I get that part, and so for that matter, it was relatively decent. I love the way the bathroom was set up. We've had bathrooms, a couple of bathrooms in hotels where you can see from the bathroom, you can see inside the bedroom part.
Right.
And this one was different than the one that we went in. It wasn't Spain, was it? What was that? I don't know. It was an overlook in from the bathroom.
I think it was a DR.
It was in DR. Okay, yeah, DR. And then this one had just like a window, but it was like right in the shower. So you know, you could see your loved one if they were showering. Right. But there was a switch that you would cut on, and it frosted it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it was cute. I think it was sexy. It was relaxing. It was cute, and so the room, but our view,
excellent
view. We couldn't have got any better.
Actually, you know, when you talk about the room, I usually like to get a room that's not right by the elevator, but 1 or 2 rooms from the elevator. But this one's at the end of the hall. But the benefit to that was we were on the 8th floor. There was a 9 and 10 floor, but it didn't. They didn't have as many rooms, so it didn't go the whole distance. So there was no one on one side of us. We only had somebody on the other side and nobody above us.
We was at the end of the building.
We was at the end of the building. So that's the only thing that is. We had to take that long walk down the hallway. But
that wasn't that bad though.
No. We went to long ones.
We've had
we had some long hallways
before.
But that wasn't bad because a lot of times the way it was set up with the resort, and because we were on the resort, usually when we went out, we was out for a while. It wasn't like a back and forth thing. So taking that walk wasn't that bad. But I think the room was a decent room. I don't think it was, far as when you look at the room in the Million's house setup, wasn't as, when we compared this one to New Mexico and the DR, it would be last place because it was a basic room. And I think that was because we were actually staying on the family side. Generally speaking, we stay on the adult side. And I think they put a little bit more into their rooms than the family side, because they're going to have family and their kids in there. So they kind of, I think, keep it basic. But it was perfect. It overlooked the pool. So every event that was going on, people were down there playing games or playing music.
It's nice.
And it was nice because the music wasn't too loud, but you could hear it. You could see people. You can see, like I said, if you go to check out some of our shorts, you'll see some of the shots from the balcony. Actually, we did, I think, 1 or 2 parts that we've done was on the balcony of our room. So
video. We released those, so you can go back and look at those.
Right.
So.
We actually did the live there too. We did a little short live just to.
You did with a live. We didn't connect on YouTube with the live. It was Clapper that we actually.
No, we it's a little short. It's like 4 minutes, and if you look on there, you will see. And I don't know how they picked the thumbnail, but when the thumbnail came up, it kind of reminded me of what was that the group with Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars, Silk Sonic. They have, it kind of reminded me of that little emblem of their group, but it was a little short. We was just trying. I think it's the first time we ever went live on YouTube. So, but we did go live on TikTok. That was a lot longer and more people on it. But a
lot of my people that follow me on TikTok kind of came into the. We did that at the airport as well too, but the connection was so bad. When we got back in the States, people were saying we were trying. I saw you on live. I was trying to connect, but it was where we were in the basement. It just didn't connect.
Yeah, it was a little tough, but it worked out because we was able to actually do things. Because I went to the DR and I wasn't able to call and text, but here I was able to do everything. So that was good because I don't do the extra plan. If I could do it, I could do it. I don't pay extra. I'll just see people. But you're still able to like get online, hook up with Wi-Fi and do things through Wi-Fi. But certain other things you weren't able to do. But as far as rooms, like I said, the room was decent. If you're there to relax, enjoy yourself, the room was fine.
Yeah, it was just, and to me, I never looked at it differently. Is you always expect it's a resort, it's supposed to look different than like a hotel.
Right.
This was kind of like set up like a hotel,
yeah,
but it was fine with that because I've been to resorts where the rooms were outside. You know, the doors were outside,
Okay.
And that gives you almost like a little motel type of look, but it still was, it's still pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's still all right.
But
okay. Yeah. So we'll move on and go to we kind of got the travel out the way. Of course, as a traveler coming back, and when you fly international, that's coming back to me is the worst. Going through customs and it's just a lot of walking, a lot of, if you got your little Fitbit on, you're gonna get your steps, and that's the only thing about travel was, like I said, that and all the different forms of transportation we took, but it worked all right. But we'll move on to the food. So
what are your thoughts on the food?
My thoughts on the food, I am the kind of person that I always tell people I have a big gray area, meaning there's not too many things that I just totally don't like or I go crazy in love of. So I could function at any place. We get there, I'll find something on the menu. The buffet. The only problem sometimes I run into with the buffet is as it's consistently being the same. But they did change a few things up. But some of the things weren't things that I eat because I'm not a red meat eater. But overall the food was okay. But usually when I go to these resorts, there's usually something that I hook onto and I constantly get. Like there was when we was in the DR, they had a chicken pizza thing. I forgot, it was like a barbecue chicken pizza. That was good. So every time I'm hitting that up.
I still say it was a pizza, honey. It was a pizza.
I know, but I haven't had a pizza like that and it worked out good. And I'm just saying, there's always something like, okay, that's my thing right there. But I didn't have that here outside of maybe the drinks. Now, I'm not a drinker either, but I do the drinks, but I just do them virgin. And the one thing about the drinks there, they weren't really consistent.
They were not consistent there, yeah.
Yeah, one time I got a pina colada and you did something that was a Bahama, or what was it? You did mango thing. I think it's a mango, and they taste the same. Yeah.
I think that particular restaurant that was in the resort, because they have, when you go to a resort, they have different restaurants. Right. What I didn't like about this one is, well, I guess the same thing with any other one. If you're on the adult side, you have access to both sides.
Yeah, both sides, right.
But if you're on the family side, you only have access to that one side, right. But some of them, they do combine their restaurants together.
Right.
But so one of the ones we went to, I don't know what they were doing with their drinks that day, because they gave us the same drink. It was literally the same.
I think they were the same because, listen, later on we went down on the beach and we came back. I said, let me grab a few drinks from this place because they have a bar.
Virgin drinks.
Yeah. They have a bar that kind of is open even when the restaurant's not open. So you go. So I went there and I seen the containers and they had one that was like a whitish and one that's a red. And I think when you get the pina colada, or anything that's white, pina colada, the Bahama Mamas, the mangoes, because I only seen two things there. And then they had the red, which a lot of times would be the strawberry daiquiri. And so I just think that maybe they did give the same thing, but maybe they put a little spritz or something
to try to change it. I don't know.
Something like that. But
I don't know, but it was totally...
Yeah.
When we went back to the buffet one where we were getting, the two different type drinks, you can tell the difference there.
Yeah.
But at that little restaurant, it was like, what?
Right. See, I'm going to tell you, this is how I sum the food up. For anybody that has been on cruises, you may get what I'm trying to say when I say this. When you first get on a cruise and you're just settling in and you're waiting for your bags, what most people do is go to the Lido deck and get something to eat. Mm-hmm. That food is not indicative of what the restaurant, where you go in the restaurant and they hook the food up. This food on the resort was kind of like that food you get on the deck everywhere. On the whole resort, that's kind of how the food was. It wasn't like when I'm going to get this back. Now, they did some things where they dressed it up a little bit. But essentially, the taste of the food was like that food, which is not bad necessarily, but you think a little more exotic and a little bit more fancier, and you kind of stayed the course with that. So if anybody been on a cruise, you get on the eat on the Lido deck, that's how a lot of the buffet was like that. the restaurant she's talking about was that restaurant. They had a food during the day, and then at nighttime, it was a Mexican. It was a Mexican.
Yeah, it was
right?
Mexican every night.
It was the same thing every time.
It seemed like you would change up. It would seem like, okay, Mexican one night, oh, Italian another night, oh, something. Change it up. They had the same thing, and their Mexican dishes was not that.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
I was nice. Really that was my most disappointing part of. Because not only when you go to different places, you want to taste the food.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, that was just Americanized food. I didn't see anything really different that made me say, oh, wow, you can only get this here.
Right. The only thing I could think that maybe we being on the family side, they know kids might not like that. They like to get their burgers and fries and pizzas and stuff like that. So maybe they didn't go too far off. Because we were on the
that's side. Possible.
That's why I wish I really could have. I mean, it was a big difference between the family side and the adult side.
This time.
Yeah, money-wise, yeah, it was this time. So if it was a little closer, I probably would have done that because that way we could eat everywhere. But, I mean, and they kind of trick you a little bit because they give you a sheet of paper with all the restaurants you can go to. And I'm like, oh, wow, there's 8. But when I looked at it, the one the restaurant we talked about was basically kind of a regular food at the daytime and Mexican at night. They're called 2 different things. When during the day it's called this, during the night it's called this. So it looked like there was 2 different restaurants, but it was the same restaurant with 2 different names based on what time.
They just pretty much decorated it.
Yeah,
with the little hats up. It's just
yeah.
And then left that up. But
then they had if you go and check out them shorts, you'll really see a lot of. And there was a guy. It was just one man band guy doing hamburgers and hot dogs, and people were lining up
poolside.
Poolside. He was only there for a certain amount of hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
I don't know. He was there for a lot of hours. You say from 2 to sundown.
Yeah.
You know, he was there, and I felt for that guy because. Yeah. He had a little coverall, but basically when the sun moves, a lot of times, and he's got that grill, and this is a unique grill they had. It was a round grill, and he had the burgers all around it, and and then they toasted the buns, and then on the side when you got your burger, then they had like the lettuce, the onions, and stuff on the side. You fixed your own dressing up, but. I felt for that guy because
he's by himself. It's like no breaks. He was there the whole time. He carted up all his cooking stuff and everything. He pushed it in the cart up there, but the line stayed packed the whole time.
Yeah, the line kept just coming the whole time. But I did find out, or didn't pay attention. Well, I only got in that line one day because I'm not really a burger. I mean, I do like burgers. He doesn't, but he was the same guy that was making the omelets.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was the same guy that was making the omelets in the buffet.
Really?
Yeah, so,
so. Well, see, I've never, sometimes if it's not a lot of, I'm an omelet guy, but I'm not willing to stand in line because usually everybody will get an omelet because it's customized to them. But if that line is long, you can I'll just go. But their eggs wasn't really that. It's some of the stuff they had. Was like
that's why I do the omelets because the eggs are usually for hotels and stuff. They use that powdered egg stuff, and I'm like, it's not real eggs to me, But that's the only reason I don't necessarily do an omelet. Sometimes I like the sunny side or right side up. I'll do those too. Yeah. It wasn't that fantastic. That was the most disappointing part to me was the food.
It was.
But overall. Is nice place. Would you go back to that particular resort?
If I got a real good deal, there's some things I liked. I like the fact the one thing I like this one over the other 2, which is DR Mexico, is you can actually walk outside the resort and there's little shops and things. Mm-hmm. When the DR Mexico, it's like they went in the middle of the forest and dug out a little spot and put a resort. So. If you're going anywhere, it's got to be a taxi or some bus or something, or set something up there. You can just walk outside, walk down there, had a little market around the corner. You can actually walk to some of the beaches that's further. It's a good little walk, but you didn't have to depend on transportation. So I like that because I think you checked out, there was a fragrance shop. I can't remember what the name of it. It was a fragrance shop you checked out that was right outside there. And we actually was off season, so all the shops weren't open.
On Saturday, on the weekend, but Monday, when Monday came around, it opened up.
Oh, did it? Okay.
More so. I mean, the restaurants opened up, but like the other little shops kind of like was a little closed on the weekend. And we asked the guy in one of the stores, on one of the souvenir stores we were in, and he said because it was off season. You know, so that was why it was kind of quiet. But then on Monday, it was like, okay, the stores are open.
Which is weird because, you know, it was August. So I guess there's an opposite of us, I guess, in the States. But it was August and they're like off season. That's like prime time.
Right.
Most other places. So, you know, but it worked good for us. But it just almost seemed like as we were leaving, it looked like more people, I don't know if it's just my imagination, like more people were coming as we were leaving. The lobby
I didn't get that.
You didn't? Okay.
I didn't get that. I just thought because we came in on a Friday, you would have thought that there was a lot of people. Now, I don't know what time. When our flight came in from where we leave from to where we went to St. Martin, there's only one flight a day. So, but there's flights coming from all different states and stuff. So, I don't know how many people checked in before we got there. There was already people that were there. And then when we left, I don't know, was it a crowd? I don't think, no, because it looked like a lot of people were checking out the day that we were checking out.
I think what happened when we was checking out, they had a lot going. They had people checking in maybe, and then they had people checking out, of course, like us, but they had a lot of tours going out around the same time. And they were, because some of the buses, they had a lady out there saying, where are you going, what are you doing? And then she was so there was a lot of tours or excursions leaving right out that front part. And so now, you know, we kind of ramble on here, but this is a close-up video. We'll probably do another one because we have another issue or adventure on one of our excursions. We had kind of 2 excursions, you could say, but check us out on the next one. We're gonna end this one, and then we're gonna pick up again and do another closeout video on our excursions, and give you what were our suggestions of whether or not you should, you know, check out St. Martin, and tell you a little bit more about St. Martin. But we're going to close that out. But do me a favor before you go. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also share and comment below. And I do believe that's it.
That's it. Thanks for listening
to Sunshine and E.